A Mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Friday, September 13th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill, and this is the weekend edition of the Instagram Stories. There's a lot of news to get into. Let's dive right in, and we're going to start with TikTok. One of the biggest news stories of the day around TikTok, and there's a few, is that TikTok has become the official road jersey sponsor for the NHL's Washington Capitals as part of a multi-year agreement with Monumental Sports and Entertainment, which also owns other sports teams like the Washington Wizards and the Washington Mystics. Why am I talking about this? Why is this even a thing at all? This is a very interesting thing because as TikTok gets closer to a potential ban, this partnership between the DC sports teams and TikTok shows that TikTok has ties with the Washington, DC community and local lawmakers. So potentially this could help TikTok to avoid the ban because they're so ingrained in the lives of those people who live in the DC area. Oh, and probably happen to be lawmakers as well. Since we're on the topic of the TikTok ban, arguments between TikTok and the United States government begin Monday, September 16th. Those are going to be oral arguments in the potential ban. So I will be, of course, keeping you posted as that develops. And lastly, TikTok is rolling out a new feature called Delete and Re-Edit. So if you film on your phone or in the TikTok app, and then you edit the video in the TikTok app, you post it, but then you realize you could have made that video better by adding more text or something else that would make it more impactful. Well, your edits will now be saved within the TikTok app, so you can remove the original post that you made and repost anytime you want with those edits. I will link to a screenshot of what this looks like in the show notes so you can see it for yourself. Interestingly, Instagram has something very similar. I'm going to talk about that after the break. Welcome back. Remember how before the break I was mentioning that you can now delete and re-edit your posts within TikTok? Interestingly, Instagram has the same concept. I'm going to let Jen Herman of Jen's Trends explain it. By the way, Jen has been a longtime supporter of the show. I've interviewed her multiple times for my podcast. Here's the clip of her explaining this Instagram feature.
One of my favorite new features on Instagram that they've quietly rolled out is the ability to take a reel that you've just uploaded, delete it, and move it to drafts. So if you've messed up that reel after you posted it, you realized you had a typo, you forgot something, one of the editing things didn't work, you can literally, within the first 24 hours, go to delete and then choose delete and copy to drafts. So it takes it off your grid, but doesn't lose any of the current formatting, moves it to drafts so that you can then go in and fix the whatever it was that you didn't do right the first time and retains everything. All the editing, the caption, everything is there in your draft so you don't have to rebuild it if you made a mistake. And then you can go ahead and repost it. Oh my gosh, life freaking saver. One of the best things available on Instagram right now for Reels that most people don't know is there. Okay, so here it is. You choose the delete option from the reel. When you choose delete, then you get this list so you can move to drafts. Click on that, it moves it to drafts, and you're good to go. Again, only good for the first 24 hours after you've uploaded the reel. After that, this option goes away.
Some of that was her demonstrating it. I will link to the post she made about this in the show notes so you can see it for yourself. In other Instagram news, social media expert Radu Onescu posted on Threads that Instagram is testing a carousel mode for Reels, for posting carousels as Reels. This is very confusing, so I'm going to explain it the best way I can. If you are going to make a new post, but you're not sure if it should be a reel or a carousel, maybe it has some photos, some videos, a mix, you're not sure what you should do. Instagram is testing this carousel mode for Reels, which lets you try what your post is going to look like as a video or a carousel. When you select the content you want to share and you select multiple pieces of content, it says, try it as a carousel. You can now easily see what your media looks like in a video or a carousel. Like Reels, your post may be suggested to anyone. And then it gives you an option to say, okay, and you can start selecting which media you want to share and then preview it as a video or a carousel. I think this really blurs the lines between a reel and a carousel, but there may be times when pieces of content work better in one format versus another. Why should you spend all that time creating it and then realize it would have been better in a different format? You might as well just be able to see what it would look like in each of those formats as you're creating the content. Bold idea, I know. I will link to what this looks like in the show notes. And lastly, some people were reporting on Threads today that Instagram users were getting notifications that their followers were pinching and zooming in on their photos. However, this is not true. This is actually a false report. Someone asked Adam Mosseri, is it true that people are getting notifications when people zoom in and pinch in on their photos? No, that is not true. Don't worry about it at all. People are not going to be able to know that you're zooming in on their photos. Okay, that's it for today's news. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you are going to be creating content this weekend, try to make it fun and engaging. Maybe there's a reel or a TikTok that you've seen recently and you thought to yourself, that's hilarious. I want to make my own version of it. Go ahead and do it. I have one in mind that I saw last week. I needed some equipment and tools in order to make it, but I got those sorted and I'm going to do it this weekend. Somebody hold me accountable, by the way. Send me a DM on Monday and say, hey, Daniel, didn't see that video. You were supposed to do it. This way I will do it. Go make some content. Have a great weekend. And as always, be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other information you need to know. Okay, wraps on.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work, without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish, unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.